Obviously, a company that you want to have problems with. This is like a relationship. Not every time everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's going to be winters. But remember, without the winter, the flowers will not flourish. So we need winter. We need the rain sometimes, right?
I'm LeAnn Lyon, your guide on this journey to success. We will explore the inspiring stories of visionary leaders and groundbreaking entrepreneurs and unveil the tools and strategies that can empower you to manage your business from anywhere in the world. Join me, LeAnn, as we learn, laugh, and take the leap towards unleashing your joyful business journey. And let's make it happen now.
Today, we are joined by an entrepreneur from Spain with an inspiring journey. He wasn't the best student. He spent years juggling multiple jobs in nightlife, stores, events, and even started studying aviation, yay, but realized none of it would give him the freedom he truly wanted. That search led him into network marketing, one of my favorite topics, where he's built a global business and now lives a lifestyle of travel, purpose, and personal growth while mentoring others to do the same. Javier, it's my pleasure. Are you there? Come forward, please.
I'm here. Super happy here.
I'm so happy to see you again. We had such a great conversation our first meeting, and here we are. I told you then I didn't want to ask too many questions because I have so many to ask you now. Aviation, let's start there. How far did you get in that?
So I did only a few hours of flying, to be honest. I think I did like around 8 hours of flying, but then I did my ground school. I really enjoy it, and it was actually the reason I want to study aviation. It was because I love traveling. I found out I love traveling, love to go different places. So for me, I was like, okay, how can I actually make money and travel at the same time? So I just put it together and say, okay, the best way is to become a pilot. So that was kind of like my mind, how I went through.
I love it. Absolutely. I happen to be married to somebody with a pilot license, and we have very much enjoyed having the small planes and being able to get to events on our own. And I foresee that happening again in the future. We don't have a plane at the moment, but it can happen. But I love that you were paying attention to your real desires, even when you pursued a pilot's license at one point. And other things, I was reading your introduction, and I think one thing is missing.
What it is?
I think when you talk about you've been part of the service industry and hotel, in restaurants, hospitality, things like that, service is the key and that's the core of all those other things you did. And it's really, I think, what you do now as a team leader, is it not?
100%. I think most important, especially in our field of direct sales, is serving by leading, right? So you need to serve your team. You need to provide the tools. You need to provide the energy. You need to provide the platform so people can thrive through it.
Well, I can see that some people would agree with you, and I can see that other people that are also leaders would say, I figured it out. They need to figure it out too. That's a pretty different perspective. I can see which way you probably lean, but do you understand the other's perspective, and what are your thoughts on it?
100%. I think there's many ways in order to go to the top. It's not just one direction. I would say, what I'm teaching or what I give in is what worked for me. Some other people went through different paths, different experiences, and they're going to teach what worked for them. But what I have seen at the end of the day, when it comes to the professional network marketing, people don't care how much you know, so they know how much you care. And it's important to train them to be with the people and be somebody so that person can develop, can grow, and believe on them. Because so many times when especially we join in this industry, we don't come with an entrepreneurial background or entrepreneurial mindset. And having somebody to believe in you more than you actually are able to believe in yourself, I think is super important for achieving at least the first level of success. Of course, later you need to be a self student. You need to have independency. You need to grow. You need to develop. But I think it's important that we pour our belief on the people so they can believe in them.
And I'm guessing you're saying some of this from experience. Somebody poured into you. Do you want to tell me about that?
Yeah, 100%. So as you mentioned at the beginning, I always say I was the best student from the bottom. I was not so good a student. I actually didn't like so much the schooling. And the reason is because I come from a military family. I say I love guidance. I hate orders. And so, for example, if somebody giving me a guidance of something that makes sense for me, okay, great. But if you give me an order because you have to, it's like, why? And I was a typical student. I was questioning all the time. And then I was, I was not the best when it comes to there. So what happened many times when you're not a good student, you pour into your mind to say, okay, I'm not meant for success, because that's actually the success in life. You have to go to school, have good grades, go to uni, get a good grades, then you can have a good job and succeed in life, right? And that was my idea of success at the beginning. And so I knew I didn't follow that path. So at first, I didn't have so much belief I was able to have something big. So when I actually joined in this profession, I'm probably gonna come later, but I kissed two frogs in the industry, and later I have a little bit of missing belief I was going to be able to build this profession. And actually I partnered up with, right now is one of my best friends and a business partner. He put some more belief on me as well, and that helped me to believe on myself that I was able to do it.
Yeah. I do, I also have a background in network marketing. Both of us have been involved with it for many years. People, have given network marketing kind of a bad rap over the years. They said, well, they promise you the world, and it's true. I mean, when you first hear most network marketers talk about their business, we used to talk a lot more about, hey, you find five, who find five, and and that can be true. What we weren't addressing then, that I think in general people are better at addressing now, is that you can't find five who find five. Only 41% of Americans have the desire, even the desire, to be an entrepreneur. And truly, network marketing is entrepreneurial. So if you're five and only 41% would be two, if only two of your people, and that would be an amazing amount. Can you agree? Like if you could find 2 out of 5 that want to do what you do, we'd be like, whoa, but it's not that high because it's actually smaller. 9% of people are actually self-employed like us. That means 1 in 10 can't really have that, are at the point of having this kind of drive. So yeah, it's a numbers game. It's been a journey. I think network marketing has been a journey as an industry. And of course, you've had a journey as well, a personal journey we both have of, you hear it because we're entrepreneurial. Both of us were like, I can do that. We've both have had levels of success, but it doesn't always translate to every single person underneath us. And so you're right, we have to pour into them. Anything you want to add to some of that?
No, and also when you're mentioning about, I think this profession, it can give you everything you want to and desire to, but of course, freedom is not free. So it takes time. It takes some. You need to develop your mindset. You need to develop the skills. I'm super blessed about this industry. This profession has given me everything more than I actually one day I dream of. But I think many times as well, we see the end products of the industry and we see the end result. But many times I don't know why we do this. We don't share the entire process, all the journey, all the setbacks, all the, the heartbroken things. And the people just see the glory and they think, okay, that's easy. But it's simple.
Yeah.
But it's not easy because you need to hold a lot of negativity at first, and you need to develop some soft skills that we haven't learned in childhood or what we were doing, and also later higher skills as leadership and developing people. So I agree with you. This industry has shifted a lot, and now we are at a point where actually a lot of us as well are looking into a profession more and more and more.
I I was listening to a podcast this morning, surprise. And it was interviewing the CEO of a marketing platform that my company recommends that I've been successful with. You are learning about it. I'm not going to go any further with that at the moment. But the CEO of that company says, yeah, he got into this technology world, software as a service area, and he said he lives and dies every single day. But what he has not had to do in 20 years is ever look at a clock at 2 p.m. and say, is the day over yet? How important is that to you?
I think for me, it was one of the biggest reasons I pursued this career. For me, freedom is one of my biggest drivers. So being able to decide, and I like, that's the thing. Like many people say, okay, you ever work? And some people is like, you ever stop working? And both are right because yeah, we work, but we also can decide when to do the things. So for example, for me, the desire of we're skipping winter. And we are like partially living in Dubai, plus Spain in summer. And then also my fiance is from Argentina. So we go to South America. So choosing where we go and having the lifestyle that we decided for me was a huge driver because freedom, as I said before, freedom is not free. But also when I look in this industry, this profession, the freedom they can give you, the more I look at it, as I see less and less options when it comes to the outcome with the risk, because the risk that we need to put in this industry is almost close to zero when it comes to normal traditional entrepreneurship, but the outcome that we can get is incredible. So for me, 100%, it was a huge driver to have that freedom to choose when I do what I do, where I am, and be flexible with my time. Because at the end of the day, I don't know where it's going to be the last checkout. I don't know what day it's going to be, and I know we live in this earth right now. So live it at fullest for me is crucial.
Yeah. Yeah, they say that people who spend too much time looking into the past are depressed. People who spend too much time looking into the future are anxious. It is those of us blessed to see and live in the present that are truly able to experience joy.
100%.
That's true. Now, the network marketing industry, as you just referred to, you said, it's an easier industry really to get into than most. It's true. I have owned a brick and mortar business in the past where we had a $4,000 a month rent. On top of, we had expensive machinery. We had employees to run the expensive machinery. We had all the shipping costs. We had all the things that we had to, do on a daily basis. And yeah, there was a time to check in and a time to check out and all the things. So if you think that's easy, it's not. It's how I got addicted to coffee. Later, I got addicted to a better coffee, which is another story for another time, but in a good way. But network marketing, the coffee was actually part of that story. I became more involved with network marketing because of a network marketing coffee, where I was able, as a business owner, to start a new branch of my business, which I did because it was a health and wellness company. To bring in a healthy wellness coffee made sense, and it was $49.95 to get started. Now, granted, that gave me no product, and I needed product, and I had to buy some product eventually. But network marketing, at least in the United States, that's a rule. You have to offer a very low dollar entry fee for people to get started with you. Granted, again, you're in a product industry, I'm in a product industry, but there are network marketing companies that are digital. So it's possible to find something that allows you to get into business at a very low dollar. But it's not just any company. Just because your best friend says, hey, I love this coffee or I love this product or whatever else, is that a good reason to join a network marketing company?
I think the first we all, let's say, get introduced in different ways into this industry and this profession, but the reason that people, they open the doors to have a look, and then we need to do our diligence to decide what we have to do. As I always say, it's a platform that is going to give you whatever you give them. If you give them a lot, it's going to give you a lot. If you give them nothing, it doesn't going to give you anything. So it's like, for example, when it comes to the gym is going to provide you the tools in order to get you in shape. But in the same tools, some of them, they're going to lose some weight. Some of them going to get some muscle mass. Some of them going to compete. And some of them, they're going to compete in multiple different type of sports. Because in the same room, they can practice golf, can practice baseball, they can practice American football, they can practice running. Same thing, same machinery. And even you can have the best membership and the best class, paying like 400 euros for like the best of the best of the best of the best. If you don't go, you're not going to have results. So what it gives you this is exactly the same. We give it a platform so people can develop, can earn an extra income, a full-time income, or lifetime income. But at the end of the day, the tools is given us provided for you to have the success that you want to, but also to use or recommend products that you believe. Because also what I think when it comes to this industry, we all product of the products. So when we represent a company, because we believe on the product. So maybe we are getting entered by a friend that love the products that you're using or the service that somebody's using, and that's the entry. But if you don't like, you need to see if that's something for you and what's going to happen. If you like the products, you like the system, you like the support system, you have everything in order for you to have success. At the end of the day, it's a word to just share it. So it's the best of like, going back to the question. Just because your best friend asks you about a product, that can be the best reason to start in business. No, but actually with your friend is giving you a tool so you can decide where you can take a product, a service, and whatever you want to take through your life through these platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, 100%, you got it. You nailed it. Because yes, there's pros and cons to working with family or friends, right? Because everybody's going to go through their days, their good days, their bad days. And if you're really close, family and friends, sometimes it's harder to work with a family or friend and get them through things because they've seen you at your worst too.
Yeah.
But kind of the other point was, if you're a passionate person, if your passion is travel, you probably don't necessarily want to go sell coffee. If your passion is helping people lose weight, you don't necessarily want to go into a network marketing business that sells software as a service. So that was kind of part of it too. Make sure that it's tied into what you also love. So that brings me to my next question for you. When you were a child, what did you love? What did you play? What was your passion between maybe the ages of 7 to 10?
I like to be out. Actually, being very blessed, as mentioned before, I come from a military family, and through military, you have different, let's say, clubs that usually a lot of people that are, they have private class or things like this, very, very expensive. When it comes to military families, you have access to clubs of, military families around. So I always remember as a childhood of very outdoor, a lot of freedom, people surround and activities and experiences. So that's actually what I can say about this. I think even I didn't follow that part of the military. I think values and provided in service is incredible, and also the connection of nature and with yourself, I think is immense.
And I love it because it's my core belief that who we are is seated in us long ago. In my belief says it was seated in me before I was me. So, but we get to express it as children more so than as adults. A lot of adults get trapped into, well, you're this, so you should do that, or you're, I'm your mom or dad, so you should be this. And a lot of people do fall into that. You didn't. But what I heard you say is that you loved freedom. You still love freedom. And you also benefited from the structure. You said you liked, what was it you said? You said you like structure, not orders?
Yeah, I love like instructions, but no orders.
Right.
Yeah, for example, if let's say somebody has the results I wanted to, I love to hear, I want to learn, I want to understand. And I love the instructions. Okay, this is, if we do A, B, C, that's where you're going to be the outcome. But I hate orders. Like, you have to do that. Oh, my system started reacting like, no. Why? So I love instructions, but I hate orders.
But do you provide some structure for your new people?
Yeah, 100%. I think is one of the beautiful things about this as well, that you join a company and the company provides all the infrastructure. So when it comes to legal processes, when it comes, for example, if it's we talk is right now it's a multiple world in this industry. Some people have services, some of us, we have products. So actually they give you all the IT systems, it gives you all the products registrations, it gives you all the logistics, it gives you all the things, but also you partner up with the teams. They have to set a process, or companies that give you all the process that you need in order to have a successful business. So you need to just understand the system, learn the system, but especially do the system, because the systems, most of the systems, it has been proven to work. So you actually need to put the system into work.
And I think that is a piece, kind of going back to what you said a couple of times already, which I agree. Freedom is not free. You're going to have to get in there. You're going to have to get muddy. You're going to have to get dirty. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And you got to get through it with some resilience. Can you tell us about a significant challenge that you faced while building your business and how you overcame it?
I think it's been many through the career. I think it's different stages on your business. You're going to have different battles. I would say it's like a video game. New levels is going to bring new levels. So every time, for example, in a video game, when you...
That's totally accurate. I love that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, but for example, let's say when you start in a video game, you're level 1. The setbacks that you are getting are simpler. So, for example, when it comes to the business, the first setbacks is our friends saying no. Actually, the first time I got a good friend of mine, I was purely excited. I was extremely excited. I actually, the first time I didn't really have a mentor. Actually, I memorized a video from YouTube. I call a friend. We say, let's go for dinner. He came to pick me up. I sit down on the car and I just start puking on them information, just throwing everything out there. And we didn't even went for dinner. We spent like almost 2 hours sitting at the car. If you see it from the outside, that would look like super romantic. We just like chatting for 2 hours inside the car. We didn't even went to the restaurant. We just like talking. I actually left. He went to, he contacted all my friends and said, Javier is in a pyramid scheme. He's going to try to contact you all. And that first, it hurt so much. And that was at that level, that was a huge thing. So that was actually one of the first things I actually felt. It was like, oh, the disappointment of people. They don't see what you see. Some of them, they're gonna just don't listen to you. And some of them they're gonna try to, put you more difficulties on your path, right? So that was actually a big challenge. So when you're new, all these things is a roller coaster. A friend say no, or when some partners or someone say I'm gonna buy it and then they don't buy it, or somebody say come with me and then they disappear. When all these things at first, or when you join the first partner and you're like, woohoo, we're gonna run this business together, and then they didn't really do anything. All these things is super heartbroken at the beginning. So that's actually level 1 problems. Then you're going to have different developers and you're going to have different situations. Like, for example, I remember once I started making money, I was like making around like 4,000, 6,000 euros a month. I actually feel stuck in one sense, because at the end of the day, how I explained, I didn't went through college. I didn't finish my studies, and who I am to be able to pass over 6,000 euros a month in Spain is quite a lot. Like 6,000 in Spain, doctors make that. My uncle is a doctor. As I said before, my father is in the military. So who I am, I didn't went through all the degrees. I didn't went through all the masters. I didn't do all the sacrifice that they did. And I'm going to be able to earn them. It's impossible for my mind. So what I was doing, I was sabotaging my business and I was putting a lead of my growth. Then of course later you also have different type of belief of like imposter syndrome, like because then things start working through the system and you're like, okay, I'm not doing so much, but money flowing to me. So you need to work also that relationship with it. And then I think every time do you want to go to a new level, it's going to be something that you're going to learn to go. And then is what's going to happen. That same thing you learn is going to go continuously repeating through your process of your business and your development to see if you really master that skill or that process. It's the same thing as I said before as a video game. So you're on the level 1, you're facing, the first, demons and the first bad guys or whatever it comes, right? And then what happened when you're level 3, you face again the people on the level 1, and it's so easy because it's so easy because you have acquired better tools, you have better understanding of the game, so you can go through so much faster. So same thing happened here. So I really believe all the things that happen, it happened for you. It happened in order to develop you and be the person or the leader that you could be.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. When you first brought up the video game, I thought, oh, I'm not a video person. And then I realized totally wrong. I had a minor addiction to a thing called Toon Blast. It was basically Candy Crush. And you know what? You're right. Even in something like Candy Crush, of all things, there are new levels, new devils. It might not be because I could just never get into the whole, like, I think of a lot of video games and kids and, the games where they're like shooting people and all the scary stuff. And I couldn't do that. I could never do that. That's just me. But yeah, the new levels, new devils even applies, folks, to Candy Crush, but also just to life in general. Like you've so beautifully said. I really appreciate that, Javier. It's beautiful. There's another shadow, though, that happens in network marketing. We don't really want to talk about it too often, but it's real. The industry has changed tremendously. When it got started, I mean, it's an older industry than most people think. And even when I first was exposed to it in the 80s and 90s, it was very expensive to get into it. Now, as we've talked about, there's a lower bar of entry mandated by the US government, at least. I don't know where it is in other countries. But, companies have also come and gone. And there's been a big shift in many ways. We talked earlier about, Find Five, who Find Five. That used to be much more of a focus where, finding your distributors, and people made money because they had distributors. Now a lot of companies have shifted more towards just finding consumers, find the retailers, find the people who love your product and don't want to sell it. Mm-hmm. And so that's one shift. But in doing that, some companies have just saying, we're done. We're going to switch all the way over to, say, just a straight affiliate program. And as a network marketer, and I know you've been through a shift like that, that's really scary. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, so actually this year happened. Actually, I first joined a company that closed down after 8 months. I was part of it and I started seeing a little bit of success, making my first hundreds of euros. And then the company closed down and then I'm doing another one that I didn't see the reason. And of course, that's harmful in many ways. And actually, I really believe the shift it went through the industry when it comes to creating more customers is super crucial and super important because I see this a lot. I explain it always like a franchise. Different. It's not going to be the best example when it comes to health, but we're going to talk like McDonald's. It's a great when it's a franchise, and what is happening. It's not the same going through McDonald's to buy a burger or opening a McDonald's franchise. And I think a lot of people is being sold the dream before just joining or just getting the franchise. But what actually they were doing is there was high customers. Like they were like high paid customers pretty much. But here, what I think now is the development of professionalism the people, they're gonna see, okay, what category you're gonna look for. You want to use and enjoy this type of products or service, or you want to start building a business. There's a franchise where we're gonna give you all the tools and all the systems on how to can be successful. I think having customer is actually where it's gonna have the long-term game of this industry to be forever lasting, because I think we cannot build on sand. And when we're building only with a dream of making money, we are building on sand. But when we are building on the sustainability of customer acquisition and customer retention, that's going to create everlasting business that continues through, even create a legacy business, just because you do it one time right. So I think having customers is super important. We are very high focus on customers on a structure. We have around like over 20 customers per partner when it comes to infrastructure. So we always believe the customers are key. And it's true that a lot of companies have suffered quite a lot lately on this transaction, and they have been changing the model, and they've been changing their vision of what this industry is. And also, when I think this has been happening a lot, is through COVID. Through COVID, a lot of people they were online, there were not many things to do, and they were open to listen. And a lot of people joined this profession. It was a crazy time. And what happened? The company was growing, and a lot of the companies, we were lucky our company could grow, but a lot of companies, they have amazing growth through that process and that period. And what they use, they leverage, they got extra loans, they start investing. But what happened? That was a bubble. So the bubble start crossing down because all the COVID, all the lockdown started going away. A lot of people, they were not as focused as they were because there were nothing to do. They were not really people that want to get evolved or educated through the profession. So slowly, the revenue start going down. And what is happening? You have a higher debt and you have a lower revenue. That's not a good idea. So what has been happening? Now, some of the companies has been suffering financially through actually the last 4 or 5 years. So now even they have actually investors, or they have banks, they're saying, hey, we need to get profit. So some companies, just because they were hiding or they were facing so much financial challenges, they decide different models in order to save up the things they had in order to continuously all the payments. So that's why a chef going from network marketing through affiliate marketing. So what is happening? You take away all the commissions, so you have a higher pool of finances that you can repay loans and things like this. So that's one of the things that's been happening in the industry quite a bit, and also. But I think that was a good clean out of companies that didn't do the things on the right behaviors. So I really think that now we're going to see companies thriving more than ever because they build through a real sustainability and a real growth of building business, not just hype or let's do something like this, right? So I think that shift was needed, and it's hurtful, it's painful when we go through something like this, because it happened to me. But as I said before on the previous question, I believe one thing: everything that happened to you, it happened for you. So when it happened that for me, it helped me, and I learned a lot. They just not just by listen to what they say, also understand where the company is standing on. So I cannot just listen to promises. I want to see reports, and because I want to see understand. If we're going to build a partnership together, because that's what we do when we join a company, we build in a partnership. I want to understand where the company is so we can build a everlasting business together.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Love it. Yeah. Yes. And yes. I know. And staying in tune, keeping up with your company. It's sometimes, it's not always easy, but you have to find ways to do so. If you're really going to grow something, you have to stay in touch. You have to know who's or at least have a good leader who can reach out to you. Now, personally, I'm involved in multiple companies, but the only way I'm able to manage that is that I have great leaders that are willing to touch base, give me what I need to know in the moment. And I do the same in certain areas. For instance, this marketing product that we're talking about. I mean, there's a lot to that. And being one of the best trainers on YouTube for it is a high priority for me because it can support all network marketers. It really can. And other entrepreneurs. It's great for real estate people and insurance people, any micropreneurs, solopreneurs. It's really a great system. But you have to decide, where are you going to put most of your energy? But you got to keep in touch with, like I said, I know the CEO of that software personally in a way that I can ask a question if I really need to. I don't bug them every day. That would be crazy. But having great leaders, making sure, that's another way to look at network marketing. Check into the leadership, know their history, know their background a little bit. Although I will say you can find something negative about anybody these days. And I have joined great organizations that people say, well, that leader, da, da, da. Well, don't believe everything you read.
Yeah, and also one thing, if I can add up one thing that you're saying, choose a company that you want to have problems with, because it's like a relationship. Not every time everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's going to be winters. Remember, without the winter, the flowers will not flourish. So we need winters, we need the rain sometimes, right? So just because sometimes it's not the greatest, so stick to a vision, find a place where you really want to build a long relationship, because that for me is a key point as well. Like, look who you like looking to have problems with, because things will happen, but
Things
it's
will
going to
happen.
be part of it.
Yeah, I had a 3-letter agency in the United States walk into my brick and mortar business, and we were closed 6 weeks later by choice. But there, by choice and not by choice. And you just don't know. But I do believe that happened also for a reason. I think that there's other opportunity that's come because of it, and there will be other opportunity in the future because of it. So, it's, again, look into the past too much, you get depressed. Look into the future too much, you become anxious. Focus on who you are now, what you can do now. So I just have like 2 more questions because I feel like I could talk to you forever and ask, I just love your insights and everything you're sharing, but I'll limit it to just 2 more. And then I'd also want to make sure that you share with our listeners, how can people reach you if they want to dig more into you or learn more about your company? We want to, let people reach out to you for those reasons if they want to. But here's one question. In hindsight, what do you wish that you had known before starting your business?
One of the things when I started my business, one thing I will actually, I explained before, follow the system, trust the process. I think this for me is key, because the system it works. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I would say be in patience with activity, patience with the results. So being patient on doing the things, and remember, as I said before, and we mentioned, all the things is happening for you. So I would love to understand that sooner. That would take away a lot of emotional pain.
Agreed. I am the queen of reinventing the wheel. I totally am the queen of reinventing the wheel. And there's times and places for it. I am currently helping a group through a system and a time where sudden change is necessary. And because I'm able to jump in and create a system and do a thing, it's great. But when you're stepping into something brand new and there is a system, I'm going to reiterate what you just said, Javier. Just follow the system until you've mastered it. If you're going to tweak it, and I'm sure you have, I'm sure that your team operates a little different than maybe another team, and that's okay. But learn the system first.
That's like, for example, sorry to interrupt, but that's like making pasta or making a cake.
Yes.
You have system, but you can put a little touch. But it's going to continue to be a carrot cake, or it's going to continue to be a cheesecake, or it's going to continue to be a pasta bolognese. You know, whatever, like whatever it is, right? But it's going to be the same. But just like small parts of you, that's good. That's going to happen. But you follow, like you're not going to cook the pasta, let's say, on a pan, it's gonna be that's gonna be awkward. It's not gonna work, or you're gonna do it with Coca-Cola, right? So I don't know, invent how to do it, and no, but you put your little touch, but of course, follow the path, the system, because that's gonna be the total outcome.
I struggled when I first had an assistant. I knew what I was doing, and I was like, this is how you do it. A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the time of day, the week, da, 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 this is da, da. And then I found out, as I worked with her, she wasn't doing things exactly as I did them. And I got frustrated. I spoke with another business owner, and that person said, LeAnn, if they do 80% of what you did, they're gold. The other 20% is just style. And I thought, oh, and that's what you're saying. You can put your cheesecake together, but some people might put a little bit of almond in it, and another person puts a little bit of orange in it, and that's okay. So beautiful. I love that analogy. And before we get to my last question, how can people reach you? Let's spell it out for anybody that's on a podcast, or where's the best way? Is it on social media? Do you have your own website? Where can they find you if they want more information about you?
Yeah, so social media will be the best. Either Facebook or Instagram is Javier De Miguel Coll. So it's JavierDemiguelColl. That's my full name. I know in Spain we use first last name and second last name. So that's why it's long.
Absolutely. And we will put the links below wherever we post this as well. So are you on LinkedIn? Can people find you there as well? Is it primarily Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not so active there, but Instagram I'm active, Facebook I'm active. These two places, or email is my full name as well, at gmail.com, active there as well.
And for anybody listening to this podcast, I'm also going to direct you, come on over to the YouTube channel for Joyminder Solutions. Also you can look up my name, LeAnn Lyon, which I will also spell, because LeAnn is with only 5 letters, LEANN. Lyon is LYON.com. But you can come on over to YouTube, check out the show version of what we've got here. If you just are intrigued by what do these people look like? I mean, that's always a thing. Like, voices are great, but sometimes I want to see people. So we'd love to have you come on over. We have shorts and clips as well that you might enjoy from this podcast and the show today. So as we wrap up here, Javier, thank you again so much. But the big question, although I think the biggest question for me was, I love knowing, like, what did you play as a child? But if you could give one piece of advice to somebody just starting their entrepreneurial journey, what would it be?
Have fun. Have fun in this process, because it's a journey. As I said before, it's going to be ups, it's going to be downs, but you have to enjoy all the process. And I know it sounds so cliche, and when you're going through a bad moment, you're not enjoying. But having this shift of the mindset and see, okay, what is this trying to teach me and how I can apply it? But as I said before, enjoy, have fun. As I say, I don't know how long we're gonna be in this beautiful life. So let's maximize it. Let's enjoy it. Let's grow. Let's develop, and let's inspire people to be and to do and create more. Just because you pure believe in them.
Well, beautiful. I love the fact that you said joy at least 3 times in that, because after all, I am the Chief Joy Officer of Joyminder Solutions, and that is what we do and who we serve. So, Javier, thank you so much. I want to thank you, and I want to also thank our audience for joining us on this journey to unleash your joyful business potential. And remember that leadership, such as Javier has clearly demonstrated over these years, is a voyage that you can take with other people. So find those mentors, find those people who inspire you, and keep shining and aligning with your purpose. And come on back next week for our next inspiring episode. And you can catch, of course, our episodes on all of your favorite podcast stations and YouTube. And until that time, this is LeAnn, your Chief Joy Officer, signing off. Keep leading with heart, and I'll catch you on the next wave of success. Hey, coffee aficionados and entrepreneurs, LeAnn Lyon here. Are you craving that caffeine kick, but looking for a healthier alternative? Well, 9 years ago, I discovered the ultimate collection of energizing options to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit without the jitters. Discover your next favorite pick-me-up today and keep your business dreams brewing strong. Hear what it did for me by visiting this website, whyilovemycoffee.com. Yes, that's the URL, whyilovemycoffee.com, because your peak performance deserves more than just another cup of joe. Thank you all for joining us today on Beyond the Business Plan. It's been a joy and a privilege to share this space with you. For more inspiring stories, tools, and actionable insights, make sure to follow us on your favorite video platform. Visit my website, LeAnnLyon.com, and keep leading with heart. And I'll catch you on the next wave of success.